This is the Finance Insurance Committee. This is the second day of our hearings, and we are going to be hearing proposals for the California Senior Legislature. And at this point in time, I would like everyone to introduce themselves to everyone else. Will we start over here with Senior Senator Frazier? Turn on your mic.
I'm Nina Frazier representing PSA 19.
Joe Cox representing PSA 31.
Jim Levy, chairing the committee, and I'm representing PSA 22.
J.D. Lideker representing PSA 2.
Kitty Messler representing PSA 20.
Tim O'Keefe, PSA 17.
Susan Thompson, PSA 12.
And we have our Financial Resource Secretary here, Eleanor Thompson.
Yes.
Thomas. I got it right this time.
Eleanor Thompson.
And we have a representative from the Office of Legislative Counsel, Joyce Wallach. And we also have a principal consultant for the Banking, Finance, and Insurance Committee for the Senate, which is Kenneth Cooley. And we have
Janice Whitaker.
Janice Whitaker. And she is one of our messengers. It's going out and getting our different senior legislators to come up and give their proposals. The first proposal that we are going to look at is from Senior Senator Lopez, and which proposal? You have several proposals.
I have a little crib sheet with your permission.
Yes.
I have the book at home. I mean, at your office. The name is Lopes, Mr. Chairman. Lopes, not Lopez. What page is it? Lopes.
Lopes.
Not Lopez.
Okay.
Thank you.
Which proposal now are you going to be doing?
I submitted 4 proposals, but one was rejected by the Assembly Tax Committee.
Right.
Tax Committee. So, with your permission, perhaps AP 23, which I think you'll find on page 9.
Okay, just one moment while we all turn to page 9. Oops.
And then Lopez. Okay.
I'm sorry?
Lopez.
Lopes. I mispronounced it. Okay, what we're going to do at this point in time is ask someone to move to hear Assembly Proposal 23, introduced by Assembly Member Lopes, which is AP 23, Capital Gains Tax Reform.
Messler?
I move that we hear legislative proposal.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. At this point in time, Senior Assembly Person, could you please give us a short summary of what your proposal is?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a copycat proposal. Back in 2007, I introduced a proposal at the federal level. It became one of the top 4 federal priorities. What I'm asking is that a senior person who has a spouse has died is allowed to retain the $500,000 exemption if she or he sells the primary residence within 2 years. Prior to this, if a couple sold your primary residence, you were allowed $500,000 exemption and paid capital gains tax on the remainder. If you were a single person, you would be allowed a $250,000 exemption. I am proposing that if a spouse dies, if the surviving spouse sells the primary residence within 2 years, he or she retains the right to keep that $500,000 exemption. That became federal law. Congressman Charles Rangel introduced a mortgage relief bill. In the final draft of his bill, they had 10 sections. My proposal was section number 7. He went 2 steps further. He did not mention senior citizens, and he mentioned it in the event of a sale or exchange of property, then the surviving spouse would benefit with that. What I'm asking is that California had a mortgage relief bill law which expired in 2008. I'm simply asking that California conform to existing federal law so that when a person files their income tax form for California, they get the same benefit as when they file their federal tax form. So I'm simply asking California conform to existing law.
Thank you. Okay, at this point in time, we're going to see if we have any questions. Senior Senator Thompson, do you have any? Tom? Senior Senator O'Keefe?
No questions.
Senior Senator Messler?
No question.
Senior Senator Lideker?
No questions.
Senior Senator Cox?
No, I think this is really a good bill that puts the federal and the state on the same page.
Thank you.
Senior Senator Fraser?
No questions.
As chair, I am also allowed to ask a question, but I have none because I think you gave a very good proposal. I'll ask for someone to move the proposal forward.
So move the proposal.
Second.
Call for a roll call, please.
Okay, Senator Levy,
Yay.
Senator Lideker,
Hey.
Senator Cox,
Yes.
Senator Frazier,
Yes.
Senator Messler,
Yes.
Senator O'Keefe,
Yes.
Senator Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, we have 7 yeses.
We're very pleased to let you know that it is passed unanimously. We'll go on the consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Now, you have another proposal here, I understand?
I believe we have 2 more, Mr. Chairman. AFP 8, which I think appears on page 25.
Page 25. Give everyone a chance to turn the page. This is an amendment, as I amended. And I see that the only amendment was a change in the year from 60 to 65 years of age or older. Everyone have a copy of the amended copy of proposal number 8?
I have it.
Okay, would someone like to move to hear the proposal? Anyone here like to? It's been moved and seconded. Would you like to give a summary of this proposal?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under current law, you and I can deduct medical expenses based on a very simple formula. If your medical expenses exceed 7.5% of your adjusted gross income, that amount is deductible. What I'm suggesting, anybody 65 years of age or older be allowed to deduct all medical expenses as a deduction. That's all I'm proposing.
You're going to 444 to testify.
Can you wait until after we've finished with this particular? We're in the middle of a hearing. After we hear his proposal and vote on it, then you excuse to go and through that room and give your proposal. Everyone understand the proposal? Senior Senator Thompson, you have any questions or comments?
No, I also like this proposal.
Thank you.
Senior Senator O'Keefe?
No questions.
Senior Senator Messler?
No questions.
Senior Senator Lideker? Senior Senator Cox?
No questions.
Senior Senator Frazier?
No questions.
And I have no questions either. It sounds like a very good proposal, so we'll ask someone to move the question. Second?
Second.
At this point in time, will you please take a roll call?
I just want to clarify, is this 7 or 8?
This is
Number
proposal
8.
8, number 8.
It's 8.
Number 8,
It's number 8. Okay, I want to make sure I have the right form.
AFP 8.
8. Okay.
Page 25.
Senator Levy,
Yes. Please turn your mics on if you're going to answer.
Senator Lideker,
Yes.
Senator Cox,
Yes.
Senator Frazier,
Yes.
Senator Messler,
Yes.
Senator O'Keefe,
Yes.
and Senator Thompson.
Yes.
Okay. 7 yeses.
You're doing very well. Once again, this will go on the consent calendar because there were no objections.
Thank you.
And you have
The next one, Mr. Chairman, is
Okay.
AFP 11.
AFP 11.
I think that's on page 29.
29 is correct.
It was a 29.
Yes. And if I look at this correctly, I see there's just one change in the last paragraph. They take out the word aging and put taxation in there. Is that the only change in that amendment?
I believe so.
That looks like it. Did we move to hear him yet?
I move that we hear personal income taxes, Social Security benefits,
I'll second.
AF federal proposal number 11.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we hear the amended version of Assembly Federal Proposal number 11. Would you give us a summary of that?
Yes, sir, thank you. This is kind of related to the previous proposal. What I'm simply suggesting is that anyone 65 years
Try and
of
speak
age-
right into the microphone. Okay, a little better. Okay.
I'm suggesting that anyone 65 years of age or over pay no income tax on Social Security benefits received. Tax will have no effect on any other income he or she may have. I am saying if you're 65, when you fill out your income tax form, all benefits you receive from Social Security should be tax-free. Now, that person may have other income, which may be taxable. I'm simply suggesting the benefits be tax-free.
Very good. Everyone understand? Do we have any questions or comments? Let's start with Senior Senator Thompson.
It's my understanding that that was the law for many years and that they changed it. I don't remember exactly
I
when.
think you're right.
And so now it's also my understanding that half of your Social Security is tax-free, which would be the half that people pay in and don't pay taxes on when at the time. Is that correct?
It's my understanding up to 85% of your Social Security benefits may be taxable.
They may be over a certain amount. Okay, 85%.
All I'm suggesting that if you are 65 and you receive Social Security benefits, you pay no tax on those benefits. Now, you may have other income, which may be taxable. That's an entirely different story.
Right, and it would be, you don't think that there should be any cap on this at all, that somebody that has $1 million in income shouldn't, this is peanuts to them. I mean, to a lot of us, it's quite important, but you don't think there should be any cap on it?
I'm not ready to answer that question. I'm not sure.
Okay,
You raise a good point, but I'm not sure.
okay.
No questions.
Questions?
Joe, you have any questions? Senator Cox?
No, having run into this problem, I used to not have to worry about Social Security when I filled out my income taxes, and a few years ago they tacked that on, and I really don't think that's right. And I think that this is a bill in the right direction.
Thank you.
Just to clarify. To make sure I understand this is proposing that income tax not be paid on Social Security benefits for people 65 years of age and older. Is that
If you're
correct?
65 and you receive Social Security benefits,
Right.
those benefits should not be taxed.
Okay.
Other income may be taxed.
Right. Now the 65, well, that's okay. I don't think this is relevant, but that would be on your eligibility for benefits because of age, not necessarily because of disability, but I think it automatically goes when you get to be 65 anyway.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no questions either. Would you like to summarize one more time why we should move this forward?
I simply think that as we get older, all of us, Most of us have limited incomes, prices are going up, cost of living has not happened and will not happen for a couple of years. This is a minor benefit. The benefit received by the individual, I think, is major compared to the money loss, money loss to the federal government. That is very minor, as far as I'm concerned. I simply say that if you're 65 and you receive benefits from Social Security, those benefits should not be taxed.
Okay, so basically the proposal is that there should be no more taxes on the benefits that you get from Social Security.
That's my point. Yes, sir.
That's the whole point of this proposal.
Yes, sir.
Incidentally, on federal proposals, if this is cleared and a bill comes up for it, on federal proposals, what we are seeking is to have a resolution of the California legislature to send a resolution to the Congress of the United States, to the President of the United States, and to all of the legislators from the state of California as to what this body is wishing. At this point in time, we'd like to have a roll call.
I have a question.
Excuse me, yes.
What about state income tax? Don't we pay income tax on...
Could you turn your microphone on? If it's not?
It is.
Oh, okay.
This is a federal proposal. Now, I'm not sure at this point whether or not California would have to, again, make a copycat law for themselves. This might be similar to my other proposal about capital gains tax.
Right.
I had assumed 2 years ago that California would automatically conform. I was wrong.
Right, and I don't know about this proposal either.
Well, one step at a time. I would suggest, if you agree with this, then we pass it and let our people in Congress know what we're doing, and suggest to them that they introduce their own bills reflecting the content of this proposal.
Okay.
Any additional questions or comments?
Just a question, please.
Yes.
I understand the age 65, but people can start drawing Social Security at 62. Would be, they're too young and don't need it?
I thought about that, and I thought I'd play it safe and play with 65.
That's everybody be doing today.
I think so.
Okay.
I would hope so.
Thank you.
It is possible, if you want to make an amendment, to take age anytime who's getting the Social Security benefits, regardless of their age, if they're getting the benefits, that it should not be taxable.
I think that was part of my clarification, wanting to make sure that we were talking about the benefits that occur to you because of age, not because of some other circumstance.
Well, I mean, people can take early retirement, or some people can't get Social Security until they're age 67 right now. So if we just take out the age bracket and say anyone who is getting Social Security, it's just for your consideration if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, we'll just leave it as it is.
Well, people who are 16, 18, 19 years old can receive Social Security if they qualify. And I don't think that it's your intent to cover those people. It may be, but I get the impression that it's not.
Okay, well then let's...
I would suspect people at 16, 18 on Social Security have very little income anyway.
Well, they have to qualify because of disability.
Okay, let's go as is, and without any amendments, have a roll call.
Okay, AFP 11, Senator Levy.
Yes.
Did the chair want to take a motion and a second for that?
Excuse me?
Did you want to get a motion and a second to take the roll call vote?
I think we did that before we started talking again. But would we like to move the proposal again?
I would move it again.
I second.
Good.
Please go ahead.
Okay, Senator Kerr. Leidecker.
Yes.
Okay. Senator Cox.
Yes.
Senator Frazier.
Yes.
Senator Metzler. She's not here. Senator O'Keefe.
Yes.
And Senator Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, 5 yeses. 6 yeses.
Wow, you know how to write good proposals.
It's like the Yankees or the Phillies. I don't know which one.
There's no objections, there's no abstentions, therefore this also goes on the consent calendar. Thank you very much for your proposal.
Members, thank you.
Do you have a floor jockey?
Yes.
Okay, you know, anyone whose proposal is going through here, in order for that proposal to be discussed, even if it's on consent, you have a few moments to talk about it, need to have someone from the opposite house who can present that.
I have two already signed.
Very good. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Can I just ask you one question, sir? Mr. Lopes? What area do you represent? What area
Talk to
do
the
you
microphone, please.
PSA 10,
Okay.
Santa Clara County.
Okay, thank you.
And this is my mentor. Please be nice to him.
I could say why, but I won't.
Thank you.
I've known him for a long time. Senior Assembly Person Lucera, would you like to come forward? What is your proposal number that we're going to be looking at?
AP 26.
AP 26, which is on page 17.
Identity theft.
Just a moment. Let's get to page 17. Okay. We are going to be discussing Senior Assembly Proposal number 26, introduced by Senior Senator Lucero, which is identity theft on Social Security numbers. At this point in time, can we have someone move to hear the proposal?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Would you please give us a summary of a short summary of what you are proposing?
First of all, I am Austin Lucero, Senior Assemblyman from PSA 10. And what I am proposing in a nutshell is, because identity theft is such a rampant thing and it's destroying so many lives and bank accounts, this proposal basically says that if you are a firm or an organization that is using...
Excuse me, can you please speak closer to the microphone because the audience can't hear you. Okay. We're on television.
This proposal, the concept is to help prevent identity theft. Identity theft is something that's really, really treacherous and destroys a lot of lives. And so what I am going to do is try to convince you that we need to have some kind of a law that will keep people from losing their identity, because not their negligence, but the negligence of someone who has their Social Security number on hand. So may I continue from that then?
Sure.
Okay. Question is, who's concerned about this kind of stuff? Well, right here in this building, we have an Assemblyman, Ira Ruskin, who printed a flyer that I copied about 4 years ago, and I copied it because I was distributing it to a presentation of CSRS, and I wanted them to know that there was concern for it. What this does is it tells them how to avoid getting their identity stolen from them. So who is concerned? Right here in Sacramento, we have folks that are concerned. There are two kinds of identity theft, two kinds of theft. One is a credit card, and one is Social Security card, which is the one that steals your identity. If you had to choose between one or the other, and you didn't have a choice, take the credit card one, because that one, you have protection. You can get a lot of things that are, if you lose your card or somebody takes it, it can be used, and you can call the company, and they will take care of it, and it'll probably cost you about $50. If, however, someone takes your Social Security or your number and starts using it, then you don't have a choice. I mean, you can't find anybody to get a hold of. There are perfect examples of that, of people who have been victims of identity theft because of the Social Security. And it lies within organizations that insist on using that number as a file number. That number is a file number at some point when people were honest, or when we were not as sophisticated with computers and things like that, probably was okay. I personally took my dentist and that company to task because they were using our Social Security number as their file number. So I wrote a letter and we got them to stop that kind of thing. But you shouldn't have to do that. When you go to an organization and you're trying to, say, buy a car, not a good example, but buy a car. So you have to fill out a bunch of things. They can, if they want, ask you for all kinds of things. There is no legal documentation that says they can't ask for it. And sometimes they don't have to provide you the service if you don't give them what they want. One of the things that they ask for is your Social Security number. Well, if you ask for the Social Security number, then my premise or my thinking is, then what they should do is be responsible for it and guard it. If they lose it, then they should pay for you getting back your identity. Now, let me give you a couple of examples. There was a lawyer named Mari Frank who periodically comes on Channel 9, which is a KQED program, and talks about the fact that she had her identity stolen. Here's a lady who has all the facilities, if you will, at her fingertips to help her regain her identity. 10 months, plus thousands of dollars before she could get it back. We had a general that also lost it. And the point being is, if they're going to request or demand that you give them your Social Security number, then they should be responsible. There was a man who went to give blood. His name was Eric Drew, lives in Los Gatos, California. And there was something tainted in his blood. And when they told him to go get a check, he went to get a check and found out he only had a couple of weeks to live. Leukemia. He didn't know he had it. While he's in the hospital, all of his records, which include his Social Security number, were taken by one of the technicians. The technicians started spending money right and left, and the only one that could do anything about it was Eric Drew. Eric Drew then, called the authorities, and he was too small of something to deal with, and so he kept fighting this thing from his hospital bed. Eventually what he did was he got a hold of the media. And when he got a hold of the media, then they figured, perfect story. I don't think they were so much concerned about Eric Drew, but they were concerned about the story. Well, the story brought it out, and then they found that one of the technicians in the hospital had stolen the whole thing because he figured the man did not need the money anymore, whatever he had, so why not use it himself? A dirty employee, a perfect example of it. So if that organization, the hospital, plans on using your Social Security, then they should be responsible for taking care of it. The federal government did the same thing. 1975, when the GIs were, there was a list of them. From that year on, 1975, a whole file of names were lost because somebody wasn't taking care of their laptop computer, and all
someone
of
took it home.
were suspect. Yeah, and so here they are. And you know that Uncle Sam requires that you give him your Social Security number.
Thank you for a very fast and succinct summary of your proposal.
Well, the summary is that if an organization is going to require that you give them your Social Security number or any other information, they should be responsible to take care of it. If they don't, if they violate that trust, then they need to pay for you to get your identity back. That's
Thank you very much.
long and the short.
Question?
Senior Senator Fraser?
Just curious, not really. I think this is a good idea because this can cause havoc that we can't imagine if it hasn't happened to you. But are not the privacy laws that cover most businesses or agencies?
Yes, but the problem is people work in those agencies. Here, one example will answer it. Cleaning agents will go to hire themselves out, and as they're wandering through the buildings, like say Apple Computer, for example, it's not happening to Apple, but that's a good example. And so they're wandering through the building, cleaning things up. Computers are left on the desks. And these people are trained to take a zip drive and slip it in there, get all the information out and leave. So privacy law is still there, but the people who are working there are dirty employees. The post office is another one that's peculiar to that, because if you turn in one of those cards saying I'm going to be on vacation, there have been cases where an employee that works for the post office has leaked the information, and then you then become vulnerable. The employee is dirty, and anything goes past them that looks like Social Security material is then compromised. So privacy laws are still in effect, but crooks don't abide by them.
But the privacy laws then, for instance, Apple then is not responsible for the employee that takes the Social Security number and compromises the credit?
They are if you can nail them. See, and the problem is the law right now doesn't really cover the fact that they do it. Yes.
Senator Cox.
No comment. I think it's really a good law. The VA, they took the last four, 2163. They don't do the Social Security number now. And the Knights of Columbus, they told us that don't put any Social Security number on it. So a lot of agencies now are really getting into the Social Security process, and I think you're really right. And if they do let your number out, which some of them do, and sometimes it's stolen, these types of things, and these companies, and they really should be responsible for making sure that you recover your identity.
Absolutely.
Without having to pay anything. Your
Social Security card, they used to say, carry it, carry it, carry it. Well, if you're going to carry it, because a lot of places want to see it, I took mine and copied it, and I cut out the main part of the Social Security number, and then when I use it, they can look at that. If they want further information, then I always bring that up to them. Another example, Teacher Association does not use, the Retired Teacher Association does not use the Social Security number anymore. They used to on the checks. Now they only use the last four numbers. Federal government doesn't use any of it. So your Social Security check is free of that number.
Very good. It's, Senator Lediger? No. Senator Messler? Oh, she's not here. Senator O'Keefe? Senior Senator O'Keefe?
No questions.
And Senior Senator Thompson?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Do you have your button on?
It's on.
Oh.
It sounds to me like what you're doing to the creditors is putting a form of strict liability on them so that the person who has been compromised has no burden to prove anything. Just my identity was stolen, and I gave my Social Security number to Macy's. And that's the only thing they have to prove to hold Macy's responsible for what could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, I suppose, in the worst case.
I was asked a question similar to that in the other committee, and they said, well, what about the people who have your identity but you don't know about them?
We're already doing it.
That's true. What about them? Well, if you don't know about them, see, because sometimes you can get your identity stolen through the internet. But my point being is if someone is demanding before you get their service from their corporation that you give them your Social Security number, or they won't give you the service, then my point being is, okay, if you're going to demand it, and if you lose my identity because of that, if it turns out that one of your employees did, then you're going to have to pay for it.
Okay.
For the rest of the people, we can't do anything about it until something else comes up.
Okay, so you would have to prove that your identity was stolen by somebody working for a particular company to hold that company responsible.
As long as you can determine that the Social Security was taken from the company itself, then it's up to them to bring it to you. There's a lot of things in trying to prove, because social identity theft, it's like a cloud. It's like the internet. It reaches out from all directions. So that's why one of the reasons the police department was not getting involved with Eric Drew, and that's why when he got the media, then the police department did get involved, and they did catch the person. He was a technician, and they got him because they got video cameras from the store that he was buying all of these items, and that's how they. But it was the police department that got it because they traced it back to the hospital.
But then in the final analysis, it really is the responsibility of the card holder or the Social Security person to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that some business is responsible for losing their Social Security number.
Oh, yeah, that would be one of the ways, but the thing that I think is more important than that is the fact that you are putting the corporations who, you see, because they can change it. If state teacher retirement can change their entire pay roll by making the check come out without the Social Security number. If the federal government can change theirs and get rid of the Social Security number off your check, then these corporations that already know about identity theft, then they need to change it. If they insist in using your Social Security number as part of their file system, then it's up to them to pay for whatever it is damage they've done to your identity. It's a real big problem.
Any other questions or comments? I have a comment and a question, maybe. On my Medicare card is my Social Security number with an A after it or a B after it. Anytime you go to a doctor or a dentist or anyone who wants to use that is going to end up with your Social Security card. With your Social Security number. At the hospital, they'll have your Social Security. They need the full number. Can you hold these doctors accountable if a technician in the doctor's office takes their Social Security number?
Eric Drew did. That one case where the man was dying in the hospital, he did. But he did it only because he brought the media in. But now that it's known that you're going to be going after these people for requiring your Social Security, I had the same thing, and I cut mine out of it. But now that it's known, you're putting them on notice. There's no reason for them to require a Social Security number unless there's something peculiar, in which case, if there's something peculiar that they absolutely need it, then give it to them. But let them know, okay, if something happens to my account or to my identity, you're going to be held responsible for it. So by putting them on notice, it's like having a burglar alarm that doesn't work, but you've got the bell outside with a big red sign on it. Somebody's going to come in and break your house and they see it. Even if it doesn't work, they're going to go next door. So maybe kind of an idle threat, but it's a threat that will get them on notice.
Well, it's very interesting because, as I say, Medicare, which is a federal program, requires your identification number the same as your Social Security number. It used to be the same thing with my alternate subsidiary insurance company, which happened to be Anthem of Blue Cross. However, they changed. It was the same number. They changed the number entirely, and they just have a counter reference. I don't know. Maybe you might want to consider a federal proposal next year to change the Medicare card, but at this point in time, we're not considering that. We're considering your proposal. You've presented it very well. You've responded to the questions. Is there anyone who would like to move the motion forward? Move. Second? Is there a second?
Second.
Good. Will we please have a roll call?
AP 26, Senator Levy,
Yes.
Senator Lydecker,
Yes.
Senator Cox,
Yes.
Senator Frazier,
No.
Senator Messler is not here, Senator O'Keefe,
Yes.
Senator Thompson.
No.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4 noes.
How many?
4 yeses and 2 noes.
Okay, it passes as a due pass. This was not amended. This was an amendment.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay. This was a due pass, and will be heard in chambers. Do you
I think
have?
it was on consent.
Excuse me.
It came through. It was on consent from the last committee.
Yeah, but it's not here.
No, I know that.
So you're going to need a floor jockey to present this.
I have one.
You have one.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much for
Thank
a
you.
very clear presentation.
Do you have any more? Austin, do you have any more to present?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any more to present to us?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, he's through.
You do hearing aids and food products.
Are you doing hearing aids again?
I just want to make sure.
Okay, I'm going now. Okay, I have been called to the Senate chambers to make a presentation, so I will turn this over to my very able vice chair to take the chair's responsibility at this point in time. Senior Senator Lydecker, it's all yours.
Thank you.
Will we have a quorum? Have you gone?
Yes, there's still four.
Okay, thank you.
Four is a quorum.
Okay, he's coming.
As I said yesterday, this is my first go-around.
Speaking to the microphone, turn it on.
Yeah, I don't even remember turning the mic on, but this is my,
Try not to hit that green button.
okay. As you can tell, this is my first go-around. So anything that I might omit or forget, whatever, you be sure and remind me. Okay, with that, we have our next person to testify.
Yes. This, I believe, what is the definition?
What is the proposal?
What is the proposal? Definition. Medicare eligibility, right?
It's,
Percent. 5, page 5.
okay, AP 17.
What's the proposal? 17? Is that on page 26?
No. What am I doing?
It's on page 5.
Page 5.
It's medical eligibility.
Assemblywoman Purcell, right?
That's right.
Okay, page 5.
That's right.
Would you like to give us the
Okay. What the purpose of this is that people now, and I've got 3 or 4 cases, and Senator Torres's aide also has cases where people are losing, in order to get on Medicare, they would have to give up one car. The mother and father, let's say, of a family, or the grandmother and her daughter, if they're both taking care of the family, has to give up one card in order to get up Medicare. Lots of these on Medicare. Lots of these people, Medi-Cal, lots of these people have had 2 jobs, the hours have been cut down, their insurance is taken away, their benefits are gone, and they're eligible for Medi-Cal except they have 2 cars in a household. And if they have 2 cars in the household, no matter what price the cars.
Mrs. Purcell, I made an technical error here. We need to move a motion and a second to hear your report.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So give us one chance, we'll pertain to that.
I move that we hear the proposal.
I second.
Okay, and thank you. It's very important that they receive the insurance, because lots of times it's not only them but their grandchildren, or it would be a husband and wife or anybody else in the household. And I think it's very important for them to be able to receive the Medi-Cal insurance, but for these 2 cars, and they need it. Right now, hours are being cut to 15, 12 hours a week. And I know that right down this time, later on when the economy improves, they will be able to afford it. But they're sick themselves, or they've got that. And it will mean that they'll lose their job that they have if they can't. So it's very, very important that they do receive, we're able to get on Medicare. Medi-Cal. The cost involved would not be any difference, because if they own 1 or 2 cars, does not affect the cost. But what it would do would be to eliminate one job when they already need the money to live on, and they would be below the $700 a month. Now, if it's 2, it's $1,200 a month if they're on that. And that's the way the bill is written. But for the fact that they have 2 cars, they're not eligible.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes?
I'm sorry. How is this tied to a senior issue?
Because these are seniors that are being cut out on hours and things like that. There are many seniors that are not 65. There's seniors that are 60, 62, 63. But this one only affects seniors. This would affect other people, too.
Right.
And a lot of seniors have their own grandchildren in the house, too.
Okay, so the two-car exempt, you're asking for a two-car exemption
Yeah,
instead of
exemption.
one.
Yes, that's right. That we'll be able to exempt the other car, the other car.
So would the exemption be for people who are seniors or
Yes,
anybody?
that would be seniors and anybody else.
So
now,
it's for
seniors,
everybody.
yeah, seniors. When you talk about seniors, you talk about seniors 6 years old under the Older American Act. You talk about seniors under AARP. You're under 6. Some states have seniors over 50. So, I mean, as seniors, the name applies to anybody over 50.
But when you were working on the proposal, did you think about being specific about the age of the senior you were talking about?
Because it was stated that it would be better not if it was stated.
Okay.
As long as the word seniors is there.
Yeah, now some of the proposals that we have are very specific. They'll say 62 and over, 65
Yeah, I
and
know,
over.
but this was on purpose. I left it off. Because I want everybody, the more that can be counted. I want everybody working, because if they can't get two cars, then one needs to get to the job, or one needs to pick up the kids, or one needs to do something else. And we have to remember that there's a lot of grandparents now raising grandchildren.
Mr. Chair, if I just may clarify, having looked at the language in the resolution, in the actual resolution portion that begins on line 66 and then continues on the next page, that it says any persons, or that people, and it doesn't refer to seniors, nor does it have an age limit. So this proposal would apply to everyone, not just seniors.
Yes, right. They wanted to include that too. But mainly, as the goes, it would be up to the legislator that approves it, that picks it up. Because they change it to where they want it anyway, so I found that out, But as long as they hope and pray that they change, let two people. Because right now during the economy, I've never seen an economy before, I've heard about it, that their wages go down to 12 hours or 6 hours, not 6 hours, but 12, 15, 18 hours, and that's not enough to live on.
You mean a week?
A month.
12 or 18 hours a week?
Yeah, a week. I'm sorry. Yeah, not a month, a week.
Some of us work 12 to 18 hours a day.
I know. I was a teacher. I know, and I know moms and dads work hard too.
Any other questions or comments?
No. Let's just have the question.
I have a question.
Yes.
I think that at the moment, the one car that people on Medi-Cal are allowed to have has a value limit.
These are two old cars.
Okay, so
yeah, they're even including old cars. It used to be a car over 4,000 or something. I understand. But these are cars a lot less than that.
Well, some people that have been cut back may have a new car, and they're making car payments on it, for that matter.
Yeah. No, I know, but let's say that if they're making car payments, the car is going to be gone, and then there won't be any problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other?
I have lived with a family for many, many years where we only had one car in the family. And, this seems to me like kind of a luxury item to a lot of people and to us that are the taxpayers to start with.
Yeah.
But, to take the kids to school and take them to parties and stuff like that, those things can be worked out. I really don't believe in this particular proposal.
Well, no, this was mainly for, I said household needed that too, but mainly for two people working, if you'll read the proposal. And if one has to go in one direction, the other one has to go in the other direction, it would be impossible.
See, the way I read it, it doesn't say that.
It says two-car households. That's needed for working families, I believe, unless that part was taken out of it.
Any other?
No.
Doesn't it say that in there?
Would you like 1 minute to summarize after the question?
Well, I just know that it's very important, but for this, working families could not make it today. Yeah, years ago when people were working, they worked in the same town, but now they have to work in Irvine, or they have to work in San Bernardino, or they go out a distance, and they really do need two cars.
But the proposal doesn't say both are for working. It says
Well-
one is for working and one is for family use.
No, does it say in there?
It does say that.
Well, then somebody's made a change in there, because I had it for 2 working.
Yeah, it's line 70 and 71.
Okay, no, I wanted it for 2 working people. I didn't realize, maybe they made it out when they revamped or published the, I didn't notice it, because I said they were for 2 working people.
Mr. Chairman, was the author proposing amendments then? Is that?
I can't, can I pose amendment in this committee?
Yes.
Change? Okay, then I would want to say 2 working families, 2 working, people.
Well, there are several places that we would need to look at to make that consistent.
Okay, wherever it's needed to be changed then.
And I'm not sure where they are.
We need a motion on the amendment.
I think we need
Since
to
it-
figure out what the amendment is first.
I'll take care of putting it
okay.
in all the proper places if that is the vote of the committee. So
That's
since it
fine.
was an author's amendment, there's no motion. It would just be the chair to call for a roll call vote on the amendment first, and if the amendment passes, then on the bill as amended with a motion.
Okay.
That would satisfy. Is there anything else that's in that line?
Thank you. We'll call for the roll call vote on the amendment.
This is for AP 17 Medi-Cal eligibility. Okay. Senator Levy is not here. Senator Leidecker?
No.
Senator Cox?
Yes.
Senator Frazier?
No.
Senator Metzler? Oh, she's not here. Senator O'Keefe?
Yes.
Senator Thompson?
Yes, as to the amendment?
Is it yes with the amendment?
Just to the amendment.
Okay.
Yes, just for the amendment.
So we have 3 yeses and 2 noes.
Fails. You need 4.
We need 4.
The amendment fails.
How many do you need to?
You need 4.
4.
So let me make sure I have my records.
There's
correct.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here.
I have 3 yeses. Is that correct?
That's more than 1. Half would be 2.
In our committee, it takes 4 to pass it.
Oh, but
It takes 4 to...
then it takes the whole
pass a
committee to
majority.
pass it.
Okay, the
I
amendment
have 3
fails.
yeses and 2 noes. Is that correct?
Do we vote on
That is what the vote is. Let me just consult the procedural rule.
I just want to make sure my form is correct.
That's very good.
Lideker said no. Frazier said no. And then Cox said yes. O'Keefe said yes. And Thompson said yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's the way I remember it. Legal impasse.
Pardon?
A legal.
Yeah, she'll determine for us.
No, the quorum is 4. Since there are only 5 members present right now, only 3 votes are necessary to adopt the amendments and to pass the bill.
So it did pass with
It's
3 votes.
the 3 out of the 5 members present.
The amendment passed.
Okay, thank you, and thank you all.
Now
These
are we ready
people
for the
will be
motion?
very grateful to you people, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We ready for the motion?
Yeah, I think we
Oh, I'm sorry, just the amendment, the bill.
Yeah, the amendment just passed.
Is there a motion to hear it?
So,
So moved.
second.
Yeah.
Been moved and seconded. We'll call for the vote.
Okay, another vote?
Yeah.
This is on the...
On the fully amended bill.
Okay. Senator Leidecker?
No.
Senator Cox?
No.
Senator Frazier?
No.
Senator O'Keefe?
Yes.
Senator Thompson?
No.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 noes.
So if it fails
Yeah,
on that vote. Somebody, Member Purcell, we thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. I just wish we could have.
You bet.
Thank
I
you.
thought it should pass.
And I think we have one more if they come.
Yeah.
Thought we saw somebody coming in.
So
And that
that's
would
4
tell-
noes and 1 yes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The way it's shaped up.
So do we mark failed? Failed passage. Okay.
Don't we have 2 more? Oh,
And for all the members, the note that the chairman left me, it would be page 12, no, Assembly Proposal 12, page 1.
oh, security freeze, huh?
Assembly Member Gold,
Cron.
have a seat, please.
AP 24.
Is there a motion to hear the proposal? So moved. Seconded?
Second?
Okay.
We'll let our lady verify that. It was unanimous to hear the proposal.
Yes, okay,
Okay.
right. You have
Go
your
ahead.
pages?
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Assemblywoman Gold, go ahead.
Okay. This proposal was actually presented last year at last year's session, and it came in the top 10, and it ended up being pulled by Senator Simitian, who was the author of the original proposal, which happens to be Senate Bill 1018, which resulted in the Financial Abuse Prevention Act of 2005. What that did at the time was to make employees of financial institutions mandated reporters for financial abuse. And since that went into effect, all of the bank employees and credit union, financial institution employees have been trained to know how to identify and report suspected elder financial abuse. However, when that bill was introduced, they had a sunset clause of January 1st, 2013. All this does, all my proposal does is repeal the sunset clause. Doesn't change anything else. There's no cost to the state. All of the training is in place. It just repeals the sunset clause, pure and simple. And in view of the instability and the volatility of the financial services industry in the last year or so, I don't think we want to let them off the hook. Follow the money. Elders are still being ripped off.
Am I on the right page?
Credit.
Question. Questions?
Consumer credit reports?
No, that's
No.
number 12.
Number 12, yes.
Yeah, 12.
Okay.
Yeah, page
24.
13, 14, 15.
Number 24, okay, because number 12 doesn't sound anything like what she was saying.
What page?
No, it's
13, 14,
AP 24. I don't know what page
13,
that's on.
that's okay.
Page 13.
Page 13.
I got it.
Okay.
Pardon me.
All I did is just change the date and resubmit it.
Yes.
And if I'm going to go back to Simitian and see if he'd like to sponsor it this year. Last year, there were several sponsors who signed on to it in Smitty and said, no, let me do it. So I'll go back to him this year and see if he'll pick it up.
Give us a second to look at this page and we'll see where we go.
Just a quick question to the author. If the sunset is repealed for 213, will that mean that it doesn't have another sunset date? That just means it's forever?
For infinity.
That's pretty close to ever.
Yeah.
For as long as there's banks.
The sun shall rise and set in the west.
Any other questions? A 1-minute summary, if you'd like.
I helped to write the original proposal, which did not go through the CSL. It was done independent with some nonprofits outside of the CSL. And I know that financial abuse continues to run rampant in our society, both in the state and on a national level. And a lot of states are looking to California because of our main data reporting laws and are instituting their own. We've set the pattern, and I don't think we want this to go away anytime soon. So I would appreciate your vote on it, and let's move it forward and make sure our seniors are protected financially.
Thank you.
I have a question. Has the reason that this has a sunset clause of 2013, do you know what that reason was, why it wasn't passed?
It was an accommodation to the insurance industry, essentially, when they first established the bill. It was one of the concessions that had to be made, and that was to put the sunset clause in. Since then, the California bankers and all the other banking associations have put a tremendous amount of money into training their employees and the enforcement and the accountability issues. So I don't think they're going to want to eliminate the sunset clause anytime soon, just because they've got a vested interest in it at this point.
So there haven't been any complaints that you're aware of that this is not
No,
working
not
well
at
or
all.
anything of that nature?
No, it is the law, and they have complied. A little reluctantly in the beginning, but they have done their due diligence.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I have a question. If we put this in are they going to fight us? We want this law, definitely. Mm-hmm. And if we put an indefinite, like, in other words, if we went to 2020 and then have it.
I seriously doubt it. You know, they had to comply with the law originally, so they had to put all of their policies in place, and they had to do all of their training. I would be very surprised if there was a big fight against this. I think it would cost them more to fight it at this point than to, let it just go past and let everything ride.
Right. Thank you very much. I think it's long overdue. We're going to be on 2013 before we know it.
Okay, ready for the motion?
I move that we accept.
I second that.
Second, Mr. Cox.
Okay, this is for AP 24. Senator Leidecker.
Yes.
Senator Cox.
Yes.
Senator Frazier.
Yes.
Senator Metzler.
Yes.
Senator O'Keefe.
Yes.
Senator Thompson.
Yes.
Okay. 6. Yes.
Pass all the way.
Yep, sure.
Very good job. Thank you.
I think the seniors of California will be most grateful for this. Thank you very much.
I'm sure of that. Thank you.
Okay.
You know, and the banks have really taken this to heart, and they are now taking a look at it. So you've done a really good job of laying the groundwork.
The system is working, fortunately, and reports are being made. The only thing that the stumbling block are the budget cuts have seriously hampered our adult protective services organizations to, to investigate these crimes. They're happening, but at a slower rate. Thank you all.
Okay, we have one more. And the author is, huh?
I don't have it on the list here, but if we have a person, let's have them.
AP12,
Yes.
I think.
Page 1, AP12.
Uh-huh. And, okay, I think
Richard
it's
Johnson.
here, right now. Good, glad you walked in. Okay?
Welcome, Senator. You want to give us a...
Okay.
One moment.
Oh, that's right. This is my first time. I make mistakes all the time. Is there a motion to hear this proposal?
So moved.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Senator Choi, you got the floor.
My name is Richard Shantz, Senior Assembly Member, PS 25, which is the west end of the San Fernando Valley. My proposal deals with consumer credit reports, and this proposal adds a layer of protection to seniors 65 years and older with no charge to the senior to have their credit report frozen so it cannot be accessed without permission. It's one of those things, everybody has gotten unsolicited credit card applications and things. Well, those credit card companies have accessed your credit report to see whether the fact is that you might be a viable candidate. This stops any access to your credit report unless you have given that company specific access to do it, such as if you were applying for a home loan, you know, you are going to give access them to for your credit report. Also,
Assemblywoman, you get a little closer to the mic. Oh. That was our television monitor telling you. We want to hear you.
Excuse me. Anyway, this proposal also is no cost to the state government. But more important than that, it adds that protection to seniors. So if you have any questions about it, be happy to answer them.
So what you're asking is that they take the charge of $5 away?
Well, it's actually in various states, almost every state, if you wish to freeze your credit report, it's $5 to $15. Most of the time it's about $5. But then if you decide to unfreeze it, to open it up to everybody, they charge you again. So it's an ongoing type of thing, but it's this way, it's frozen until you do it. Doesn't cost you anything to unfreeze it.
You know, I think this is really an excellent bill, because why should other people that we don't want getting into our credit reports and things like that? I didn't realize that you could pay $5 and get it done now, but this is something I think that we really need, and especially seniors.
Yeah, that partially is what motivated is the fact I don't like to get a bunch of credit cards just sent to me and things. And also in addition, it provides also some identity theft type of concepts too, because people can access your credit report and they might go after you for some identity theft. So it protects you.
See, another thing too, if those credit cards have your credit report, they have your information.
That's correct.
And we don't need that floating around.
That's correct.
And do not some of these agencies notify you if someone is making inquiries about your credit history?
If you have accessed your own credit report on one of the 3 networks, and you're able to do that once a year at no charge, you can find that several people have interrogated your credit report, and it is all written down every time that your credit report has been accessed.
Right.
So, and that might upset you when you find out that there's been 8 or 10 of these people.
Yeah, actually, as a precautionary measure, about 3 months ago, I signed up for this kind of protection. And what they do is, if anybody inquires about my credit report, they let me know. And I can tell them that it's okay, I'm trying to buy a car, or I can say there's some word that means no, don't do it.
Yes,
and that's good for a year.
Yes.
And it's free. I didn't have to pay for it.
Oh, that's,
Okay.
I've never had one that is reported back to me.
No, they do.
That's,
They do.
that
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they are very good, because when I left to go out of the state back east, and I was charging on my card, they put a freeze on my credit card, and I couldn't use it. So they're very good.
Yeah, well, this is not a freeze on a credit card.
Well,
This is on your credit report.
right, but it was a credit reporting agency that did it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes, I noticed just recently that I have a $12.99 charge on my credit card each month. And so I called the bank to find out what that was, and the bank had just put me on this credit protection plan at $12.99 a month, so I told them to immediately remove me from the plan. I didn't want it, I didn't sign for it, and no one in my household signed for it. So these things are going on all the time with phone calls, and then they stick you. So I think it's wonderful. Anything we can get to protect ourselves. The thing I hate worse is every month when you get your credit card bill, you also get all these little blank checks that I have to take the trouble to go and shred, because if I didn't, somebody else out there could grab it and sign my name to it, and that's not part of my checking account. That's a new account you set up if you use one of those checks. Thank you.
They tell you it's a cheap account, just set it up.
Well, as a recipient of the B of A, you were right. That is an irritant every month. Any other questions? Would you like about 1 minute to give us a summary if you haven't already done it?
I gave you the summary and
Give us
the
your best shot.
conclusion right at the start.
All right.
I move approval.
I second that.
Been moved and seconded. Read the call.
Okay. This is for AP 12. Senator Leidecker,
Yes.
Senator Cox,
Yes.
Senator Frazier,
Yes.
Senator Metzler,
Yes.
Senator O'Keefe,
Yes.
Senator Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Motion
6
passed.
Thank you
yea.
very much for your time.
Very good. Good job.
I had to leave the state and local government committee right in the middle of when they were going to elect the ledge committee, but it gave me a chance to say, I'm sorry, but I have to leave. Just remember to vote for me. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, people, by the notes that the chairman left for me, that's our last.
That's it. Good.
We're all done, huh?
Excellent. Excellent.
It's so nice meeting all of you.
Can we all get out and lock up the room? Mr. Levy can't back in.
Poor guy. I thought we were going to hear a second installment from Ken. That's probably leaving now.
Yes, the meeting is adjourned.